Alright Shove It Squad, happy Easter. Last night it was a busy night for TNA Wrestling because along with holding their special Unbreakable show, they also ran an episode of Impact before the show. Don't bother watching it, it's just a pointless show. Anybody who's worth a turd was put on the Unbreakable show. Nothing of any substance happened on the episode of Impact, just a bunch of random jobber matches, so let's get on to Unbreakable. We open up with a triple threat in the International title tournament. Eric Young will be taking on Fandango and Zachary Wentz from the Little Rascals. It's not really a match that gets you excited for the show, but Wentz does try to bring some excitement. The two bigger guys get tired of his high flying and take him out of double teaming. And that's basically the story of the match. Fandango eventually turns on Young, taking out two guys at once. Wentz makes a comeback now with kicks, flips and cutters. Fandango dodges his slow motion kick combination, hits a Falcon Arrow. Young does come close to winning with a Death Valley driver. He really wants to get back his global title. He powerbombs Wentz into Fandango and finishes off Zachary Wentz with a pile driver. It was fine. Next up, it's more of the same with another triple threat tournament match for the international title. Overrated Ace Austin takes on Eddie Slapnut Edwards and the man without a grin, Steve Mlin. Two guys who could really do have a win here and another that just needs to go away. Ace Austin pulls out a Fosbury flop out the ring. He doesn't botch it this time, which is nice to see. Slapnuts powerbombs him on the apron. The crowd chant, "Fuck the system." Mlin starts dominating with his power game. What the hell, Slapnuts looks the same size as him. Apparently, 2 years today, it was the day that Steve Mlin captured the TNA heavyweight title, a win which has done absolutely nothing for him. He hits a double German suplex and he considers a grin. He doesn't give us it. Austin gets quite a long flurry of offense with kicks for everybody. First big spot of the night is in this match. Austin is mid-handstand when Mlin spears him out of the ring. The big spots continue with a powerbomb ankle slam tower spot. Austin is closing in on victory when Miss Piss, Eddie Slapnut's wife, stops him. Slappy hits him with a belly-to-belly from the top with Mlin immediately smashing his gut with a spear. Miss Piss again gets involved. She slaps her husband by mistake and Mlin hits the KIA for the 3. Much better than the first match. The winner is Steve Mlin. He still doesn't grin. Kaz and Tessa Blanchard will be teaming up tonight as hype for their upcoming title matches. They both make fun of the interviewer. Tessa calls Masha overrated and only survives off of hype, but Tessa survives off of her results. NFL player Sean Merriman says he doesn't believe in Joe Hendry, which gets him loud boos. He's here to commentate on a Moose match. This is going to be an open challenge. Moose has called for a match against the greatest high flyer in Las Vegas. The opponent turns out to be Sidney Akeem, who I believe was in the WWE as Reggie and won the 24/7 title. Moose almost beats him in the first minute with the go to hell. Moose tries another, which Akeem reverses. He has a brief comeback with a nice dropkick, but he's immediately crushed with a Uranagi. Moose continues his punishment with a slam on the outside. Akeem isn't finished and he hits a dive out of the ring, although not for long as Moose kicks his head off straight away and powerbombs him onto the apron. Moose gets distracted fighting with hockey players at ringside and Akeem again dives on Moose. The Dream brings him back to the ring with a crossbody for a 1 count. He tries to flip off the apron now, Moose catches him but he's sent into the ring pole and Akeem hits a Hurricanrana. Akeem keeps diving with a moonsault for a 2. Moose tries to clothesline him with Akeem dodging by doing multiple backflips but they botch whatever it was meant to be. Instead Moose misses a dive and Akeem starts backflipping again into a cutter. That's what they were going for. Miss Pierce saves Moose from an embarrassing loss but the ref sends her to the back. Moose uses that distraction to smack his opponent in the slash zone and he wins the match with a spear. Fun match, not boring for a second. In the back, Eric Young meets with the man without a grin. They have a discussion as they're going to face each other in their next tournament match. We get another one of those weird injury updates that TNA's been doing lately. Apparently Hendry's shoulder is fine now, but both Sammi and Warner have scratched eyelids. We got a 6-man tag up next. Mustafa Ali teams up with the Nemeth brothers to take on Mike Santana and the Hardy Boyz. Jeff has weird red trousers on. The match starts out like a chaotic brawl. The Hardys hit poetry in motion and the heels are cleared from the ring. They return though and start to dominate Santana. Santana manages to land a nice alley-oop on Ryan Nemeth. Matt Hardy is in next, deleting Mustafa Ali on the turnbuckles. Ali briefly flips away from Matt, but he's hit with a diving axe. Ali responds by throwing Matt onto the ropes where Dolph hits a Faymaster. It's Matt's turn to be trapped in there for a long time. Eventually Ali misses his dive and Matt hits a side effect. Jeff gets the tag. He was in the original TNA Unbreakable show, which is pretty damn cool if you ask the Hawk. He takes out the Nemeth boys with a whisper in the wind. Everyone starts snapping off their biggest moves as the match is completely broken down. Ali seems to win that exchange, but when he turns around he realises that Mike Santana is stood behind him. Mike gives him a Death Valley driver. He avoids spin the block though by filling his nappy, but Santana still dives on him out of the ring. They end up just leaving the match. Droopy Ziggler is about to hit a soup kicks when Santana returns with spin the block. Matt hits the twist of fate and Jeff Hardy wins with a swanton bomb right from the heart of North Carolina. In the back, the system beat down a jobber for no reason at all. Even the Comrades team don't understand the point. Alicia Fox is in the crowd. She is described as a wrestling legend. Oh come on, don't lie. Why is there so much ass kissing in wrestling nowadays? I miss the days when people could talk straight. If you ask the Hawk, the only legendary thing about Alicia Fox is the size of the dump she left in the women's lavatory. The cameramen desperately swoop around looking for some more D-list celebrities to show. Frankie the Future Kazarian is out next. He's teaming up with Tessa Blanchard in her extremely small swimming trunks to take on Masha Slamovich and Joe Hendry. This match is of course hyped for their 2 singles title matches coming up at Rebellion. Masha joins in with Hendry's entrance. Kaz forces the ring girl to announce Kaz as the king of TNA. That's like being the king of North Macedonia. It's not impressive. Hendry draws the first blood with a high knee strike. Kaz tries to dump in his nappy on the outside where Masha unleashes a brutal onslaught on him. Hendry's shoulder seems to be fine as he carries Kaz around the ring for a while and hits a power slam. Blanchard gets involved to turn the match and Kaz hits a DDT. Hendry's arm is no longer fine. More chance of Tessa as a racist and no she's not. Hendry hits a back body drop and the women are in. Masha drops Tessa on the ropes as the racist chants gather some volume. Can you imagine the uproar if Tessa captures the Knockouts title at Rebellion? Like, from a business standpoint, is it even possible? Would TNA actually take the risk? I don't think Tessa being back has made anyone refuse to watch TNA, so would her being the champion really change that much? It's a tough one, because Masha's title reign hasn't exactly been interesting. I expect they're just going to draw this feud out for a few months, just to kind of gauge what the fan backlash would be like for Tessa. For some reason, Alicia Fox grabs Masha, which makes her lose the advantage. Please TNA, do not bring this woman into the company, there's nothing to gain from doing this. Tessa starts smiling at the racist chants. Kaz hits a sneaky leg drop on Masha across the ropes. Tessa also kicks her in the head and lands a splash into the ring. She provokes the crowd even further by hitting a cutter and telling Joe Hendry, "Shut up or I'll smack you one." Masha tries a sunset flip with Tessa managing to tag Kaz in the middle of the pin. He slams Masha but misses his springboard leg drop. He tags Tessa back, who stops Masha from tagging out. The crowd sulk as Tessa continues winning until Masha lands a rolling heel kick, shades of Big Vis. Joe Hendry has the tag. He hits Kaz with a sack of shit. Both guys reverse finishers until Hendry lands an attitude adjustment for a 2 count. Joe Hendry manages to slip out of a fade to black and hits a nice angle slam for a 2. Whose finisher is he going to steal next? No one's apparently, because Kaz hits a backstabber and locks in his chicken wing submission. Hendry escapes that by rolling him into a pin. I'm enjoying this match. Now Joe Hendry hits an RKO. Tessa has to break the pin up, which causes the girls to brawl again. Kaz ends up smacking out his own partner by mistake. Masha spin kicks him and Hendry wins with a standing ovation. Good stuff. I think this was probably Joe Hendry's best match as champion. He battled through the pain. He seemingly had great chemistry with Kaz too. I enjoyed their character dynamics. Yeah, I think the Rebellion match could actually be good. Mike Santana cries to Santino Nutella in the back. He can't take it anymore and wants to end Mustafa Ali's life. He demands the match at the pay-per-view is Falls Count Anywhere. Can't wait for that one. Ace Austin randomly has a promo now. I wasn't sure what this was about, but then he says that someone in the back has been through hell and back and they're here tonight. It's the return of Chris Bay. Poor guy, he does look like he's been through hell and back. He is the ultimate finesser, your girl's favourite wrestler. He makes them say yes sir, unless their name is Tessa. It's Chris Bay. He calls breaking his neck the most embarrassing moment of his life. He was told he was unlikely to ever walk again. He loves Ace Austin for never leaving his side, and he says his return is the greatest story ever told. So does that mean he's going to start wrestling full time again or what? It wasn't really mentioned. Yeah, he can walk, but can he wrestle? We go from a happy moment to a serious and scary setting. The ring is being rigged up with barbed wire for the Barbed Wire Massacre match. It's Mance Warner taking on Sammi Callighan, who looks like an obese mankind. Within seconds, Sammi hits a Death Valley driver through a barbed wire table. He hits Mance with a barbed wire bat, and it's already pretty gruesome here. Sorry about the strange filters you're seeing, but YouTube are getting stricter and stricter. Unless you're a big channel. I might not fall into that category, but everything else about the Hawk is big. Sammi now has an N64 controller wrapped in barbed wire. He shows Mance no mercy. Sammy's own stupidity costs him as he misses Warner and crashes into a board. Warner puts his foot on top of him, and I'm not sure how Sammi kicks out. The ring is completely trashed at this point. Sammi gets stuck on the barbed wire ropes for a while. Mance frees him and tries a powerbomb, which is reversed. Sammi looks like he's puking. Callighan has a barbed wire ball now. I want him to roll it like a bowling ball into Warner's nutsack, but that doesn't happen. Instead, he just whacks him with it. Sammi also suplexes him onto the ball. This match is going to be hard to edit. Sammi takes a while setting up a structure. His piledriver gets reversed and Warner chokeslams him through the door. Shockingly, Sammi kicks out. The crowd chant ECW. The doctors have to get involved for a bit before we have a tragedy on our hands. They tease putting each other's eyes out as well. Sammi manages to botch a stunner where he falls on the board himself. For some reason there is a bowl of lemons at ringside. Sammi removes a bandage and squeezes lemon juice into the wound. Here comes the dumb... Wait, no, it's not dumb tax, it's a bag of salt. Sammi also has a staple gun. Hang on, what's that doing here? That isn't a barbed wire item, that shouldn't be allowed. Sammi staples his tongue to the board. Sorry, this match is awakening some sort of violent side within the Hawk. Sammi smashes the board away, which presumably rips off a part of Warner's tongue. Steph DeLanda dumps in a thong with fear. Sammi motions for the salt bag. He can't use it because Warner smacks him in the slash zone. He has the bag now, he dumps it all over Sammy's head. Sammi looks like he has some serious dandruff. Warner has a screwdriver. They have a standoff with the screwdrivers and both knock each other down. When Sammi makes it back to his feet, he grabs a sock. It's good to see he was actually paying tribute to Foley here and not just how he chose to look. He briefly does a barbed wire mandible claw and then he wins the match with a pile driver into the board. Well, that was some crazy violence. It did not disappoint at all. I'm not sure why it was on this Unbreakable show when they decided to go all out with this match, although I guess this special event needed something special to sell it. It's not the last match on this show though, so the ring crew desperately scramble around trying to fix the ring up, but it still takes a while. Chris Angel is here. Remember when he was the Magician's special guest host on Raw? He ended TNA during those Monday Night Wars. Elijah comes out to play a little song to hype up the main event. It's for the new international title. It's AJ Francis taking on the man without a grin, Steve Maclin, and Eric Young. The two friends work with each other for a while to take out the big man. They turn their attentions to each other, but it's all good-spirited stuff. AJ returns, he lifts Young up for an Alabama slam, he boots Maclin away and slams Young on top of him. He also throws Steve Maclin from the top and he hits a side slam. It's all been easy for AJ Francis so far. Maclin has his dive out of the ring blocked and he's bailed across the outside. Young fights off a chokeslam attempt, but it's all for nothing because Francis powerbombs him on the apron. What is this? AJ Francis looks like he's Brock Lesnar from 2002. Back in the ring now, Francis hits another slam for a 2. The crowd chant boring. Not sure why, it hasn't been boring. Out of nowhere, Maclin manages to knee him out of the ring and he hits a dive. He takes him back to the ring to hit an ankle slam for the 3rd or 4th time of the night. Eric Young has been MIA for most of this match. Francis catches Maclin with a powerbomb again. The crowd continue chanting, "This is boring." What the hell is wrong with them? I've seen way worse matches than this. Francis lets them get to him and he tries a dive to impress them. Big mistake because Maclin and Young both meet him up there. They double superplex him. Maclin and EY move on to have a fist fight on the top rope, but they've forgotten about Francis, who gathers them both up to hit a double Death Valley driver. Remember when Eric Young used to do that move? Francis randomly tries to moonsault them both, but misses that. Really impressed with AJ Francis tonight. Young and Maclin go back to working together, but it doesn't help and Francis hits his spear type move on Eric. Maclin manages to move Francis to the corner and he spears him. Francis still has something left in the tank though and he tries a chokeslam, which is reversed into a DDT. Steve Maclin hits him with the KIA for the 1-2-3 and Steve Maclin captures the international title. Really enjoyed that match. It was essentially a handicap match too, but there were some nice moves in there. The show goes off the air with the Nemeth brothers receiving a card. A Matt Hardy hologram emerges from the card and he threatens the brothers to visit the Hardy compound. That's Unbreakable. Look, this was a pretty good show. Yeah, it wasn't really an important show, but I enjoyed it much more than some of their actual pay-per-view efforts. The show really picked up speed after the second match. The Hawk wasn't bored or annoyed for a moment. They got all their biggest stars on the show. Good job, TNA. It's going to be interesting to see if Rebellion can top that, and if you don't agree with that, you'll get smacked.